Hey everyone, it's Shirley, and today we have a live video. Oh my goodness. My real hands. I'm going to be doing a flip through of my Shipuary sketchbook. I was inspired to do this challenge by the video Elle made in 2019, and I'll link that in the description. But basically the challenge is you have to draw 24 ships or couples over the course of February. And we're gonna ignore that it took me a bit longer than February because I have finished the challenge, so I'm still very proud of myself. I thought it was cute that Elle filled a sketchbook that she had, so I got a giant pack of all these little sketchbooks that are super cute, and I set out in February with the goal of filling a whole sketchbook. The main reason I chose to do this challenge is because I kind of suck at drawing couples, at least I really did before this challenge. I'll put up some art I've made, some ship art of Wesper from Six of Crows. I made this in 2018, and as you can see in the picture, I meant for them to be a couple, but in the picture it looks like father and son, and also look at how hard I tried to make sure that they weren't touching each other. The vibes of this drawing are, hello son, I am your father. So I wanted to set out and draw couples, even though it might be a bit awkward or embarrassing at first, to see how I improved over the course of drawing 24. And that's how we got to Shipuary 2022. So I'm going to be just doing a flip through of this sketchbook and talking about the ships, as well as what I've learned from having to draw so many couples in 1 month. 2, technically. So I guess just a quick disclaimer, all the poses in the sketchbook are referenced, whether it was a direct redraw of something or a reference of a picture I found on Pinterest. I wanted pose ideas and to work on anatomy as well. In the description, I'll make sure to list where all the characters are from, and for people's OCs and things, I'll make sure to link the creator and where you can find that character in the description. So make sure to show them some support. These are all pencil/pen sketches, but some of them I really like, so I might go back and make them in digital. So let me know if there's any that you want me to make a full illustration out of, because you never know, it might happen. Alright, I don't know why I'm so nervous opening this. The first pair I did was Korra. I don't know, they were one of my favorite ships as a high schooler who watched Korra for the first time. I just think they're really cute. I really like Korra and I really like Asami, so them together is just great. I think because it's my first sketch, you can kind of see that it turned out a little bit stiff, and that's something I kind of tried to work on with over time, having less stiff lines, less stiff poses. But I still think it's pretty cute. On day 2, I had no idea what ship to draw. I know, day 2, impressive. So I drew Shrek and Fiona. I accidentally made Shrek too short here, but you know, we gotta love Shrek, we gotta love Fiona. I haven't seen Shrek in a while, definitely need to rewatch it sometime. But Shrek and Fiona are just a lot of fun, so I thought I would try drawing them. If we ignore the fact that Shrek turned out pretty cursed here, his proportions look off and it looks like I squished him a little bit. Look at how happy they are, okay? The next pair that I did was Max and Chloe from Life is Strange. I've done a couple videos about Life is Strange on my channel. My favorite one that I've done so far is the Life is Strange anime opening that I kind of created. But yeah, so I did Max and Chloe because I think they're pretty cute. Gosh, I'm just gonna say that for every pair. I found a picture that I thought embodied them and I tried to figure out how to make the arms work, but you can kind of see here the arms turned out a little bit stiffer than I was going for. It looks almost like I posed 2 Barbie dolls instead of 2 humans, because I was trying to figure out where do the arms go and how do they go next to each other. But I still think the concept is cute, so maybe at some point I'll try redrawing this and see if it can look more like they're a couple and not just, how do we do this pose? On day 4, I did Lucky and Francis from the webcomic Lucky by CaezHel. I really like the comic, it's got a lot of queer representation, and this is the main character Lucky, and one of the main guys, Francis. I think they're great, and I feel like this image kind of just embodies how I see them in the book. It's just Lucky being gay and Francis gay panicking. The comic Lucky is so beautiful, I feel like just doing pen sketches doesn't do it justice. So if you want to read a cool comic with gorgeous art, I highly recommend you check out Lucky on Webtoon, as well as CaezHel's YouTube channel, which I'll link in the description. On day 5, I did Catra and Adora. I feel like no one is surprised because I've got a number of She-Ra videos on my channel, and in this month I've actually done a number of She-Ra drawings. I think I did 4 She-Ra ships total. I found this cute picture on Pinterest of a short girl with a really tall boyfriend, and she's standing on a platform next to him. And I thought that kind of worked for She-Ra, because I forget how tall she is in her She-Ra form, but she's pretty tall, so I tried to make the scaling work here. I'm a little sad because I didn't actually like have them really doing anything like coupley for this picture. It was just here are two people who are social distancing from each other. But I still like the concept. And like look at Catra's little like curly tail, I had fun drawing that. The next drawing I did for Shipuary is... Oh, okay. Sorry, don't mind me getting all excited. This is Shosun Teya from the project I'm working on with Flynn from Flying Stars Animate. If you've been following my stuff, you might have heard me mentioning it occasionally. We're doing a project and we have a couple characters from this project and some of them end up being in couples. This one and the next one are from that project. And they're just very cute, I can't. This is Shosun and Teya, and they're just happy and I'm happy for them. Gosh, sorry, I'm just excited, okay? These characters make me so happy. I'm not properly forming sentences anymore. Amazing how fictional characters can do that to you, you know? In the description below, I'll make sure to link the playlist of all the videos from this project that I'm doing with my friend Flynn, as well as Flynn's channel. Check them out, they're super cool. For the actual like technical aspect of drawing a couple here, I think this is already starting to show a little bit of improvement. I tried to work with softer shapes. I feel like by letting myself use rounder and softer shapes on the hands and the arms and the faces, it kind of creates this overall softer feeling that I appreciate in this kind of art. The next pair is also a pair from this project I'm working on with Flynn, and it is Mrithun and Hoati, and I also love them so much. I love the characters from this project way too much. We've got Mrithun just vibing with his boyfriend while he's drinking tea because, you know, tea is great. I don't have many words, okay? I love all the characters from this project way too much for my own good. Again, similar to the previous drawing here, I tried to experiment with these soft shapes and like let the arms be like have more curves in them, as well as kind of trying to figure out playing around with the expressions too, because I think expressions are also something I'm trying to work on with my art, so I let that be something to practice for this piece. If you want to see more of them being gay and them being gay, check out the playlist of our project. Or if you just want to see a cool project that Flynn and I have been making really cool art for, check it out. I'm sorry, I'm like, don't mind me geeking out. The next pair I did was Elle Liora from the Owl House. I have to watch more of the Owl House. I haven't even gotten to the Grom episode, which is where this drawing comes from. I think they're both really, really cute, and I need to watch the show. This is a redraw of when Luz and Amity are dancing together. I think there were like a few errors when I tried to translate it to like anatomy that's closer to my style, but I think like mostly like the arm placement makes sense. I don't do a lot of drawings with like more than one person in them, and that's something I'm trying to practice with this challenge especially. So I think, well, I kind of messed up Luz's eyes. Amity's eyes are actually looking at Luz, which I think is cool, and something I have to experiment with. I think what made this challenge even more challenging was I did it in traditional instead of digital, so I couldn't like fix my mistakes or lasso tool things to the right spot. I just had to like live with it. So some of these pieces aren't as good as the other ones, or as good as the art I usually make, because I had to just let myself keep going with the mistakes. But I think it gives you a good learning opportunity. Oh, the next one, okay, the next one is fun. So, a little bit of context. The next one is a drawing of Scorpia. Ta-da! The thumbnail drawing, ooh. It's a redraw of a picture I made in summer of 2020, which is like, oh dang, it's almost been 2 years, a year and a half since I made this drawing. But basically, I made that first drawing like right after I came out to my family and like didn't have to like worry about people seeing if I was making like gay art or not. So it was like one of my first like gay drawings that I've actually made. And I had a lot of fun with that drawing. It's based on the strawberry dress fad that was going around 2 years ago. I really want a strawberry dress. So to make up for it, I drew Scorpia and Perfuma in strawberry dresses. And it was a really fun drawing. I put so much of my heart into it, and I love how it turned out at the time. I thought since it's been a while, I should try redrawing it and see how much I've improved, and I'm proud to say like, I think this is a pretty good improvement from the first time I did that drawing. The anatomy's way better, and also like you can see I actually let them be close to each other. That is definitely a big thing that I'm trying to work on for my couple drawings. Like, let the couples be coupley, I guess. Let them be close to each other. Because like, the first drawing also kind of suffers a bit from that social distancing. Like, she has like that arm forming a barrier between them. But here I was like, no, I will have them actually be close to each other and looking at each other and, you know, being gay. Oh yeah, if you haven't noticed, most of the ships in here are gay. I do have some straight ones coming up though, so don't worry if you were hoping for more straight pairs. I'm pretty happy with how this one turned out. I probably will remake this one in digital just because I really want to see how I've improved. in more than just anatomy and line art. I want to see how I've improved in coloring and shading and have a full comparison. That would be really cool. Maybe I'll make a video just for the redraw. The next drawing I did, embarrassingly, I think this might have been the worst drawing I did in the whole challenge, but it's fan art of Hanna and Rei from Kuriyuku's Not So Shoujo Love Story, which is a webtoon original comic. It's pretty chaotic and has a lot of like meme-worthy panels, and I'm not good at explaining things. I should not. See, this is why I'm not into marketing. I'm not very good at marketing. The comic itself is great and the art is really pretty. I'm kind of sad because this didn't turn out as good as I wanted it to. I feel like just the way their faces turned out, I wasn't vibing with. But I think the overall poses kind of fit their personalities. Like I can totally see like Hanna doing like Hanna kind of bugging Rei to do like the other half of the heart and Rei being like, ugh, fine. Like I feel like it fits their personalities pretty well. And while I don't like how this drawing turned out, I do have art of them that I've made in the past that I do like. It was for a meme video, but that was like, I spent hours on drawing them and making it actually pretty, so it's okay that this one didn't turn out how I wanted to. I mean, it's honestly okay if like all of these didn't turn out how I wanted them to, because you know, it's a learning experience. It's okay to have mistakes and things because that's how you learn. And the hands here don't look too bad. They're better than most of the hands I draw, which isn't saying a lot, but I learned. But yeah, I'll make sure to link Not So Shoujo Love Story in the description as well, so check that out if you think it sounds cool. The next pair I did, Spinerella and Netossa from She-Ra. I think they're great. They're just two wives who can do magic. I think that's pretty fun. I thought I would draw them, and I haven't done any like kissing drawings yet for this challenge, so I was like, why not them? Again, you can see the soft and like less rectangular shapes that I was trying to go for here, as well as trying to figure out like, how do lips work? It was a bit tricky to figure out, but I think it mostly works for this drawing. If I could do this again, I think I might actually have them like even closer than this because it looks kind of like they're floating. So I think like I might actually put them closer than they already are. But I think this is cute and it also has like that soft overall feeling to it. I turned on a light now. Hopefully that helps, seeing the drawings. The next pair I did was Maggie and Fawkes from Fionapollo's comic Synthesis. It's a really good comic. I highly recommend you check it out. I have an interview that I did with Fionapollo on my channel if you want to learn more about her, as well as like I highly recommend checking out her channel because she does really cool art commentary videos. These characters here, Maggie and Fawkes, are from her webcomic Synthesis, and I just love them so much. And I thought it'd be cute to draw them kind of like forming a heart together while holding hands. And I think this one turned out pretty cute, you know? The next ship I did was Lian from TGCF, or Heaven Official's Blessing. The last time I drew these guys was for a Rickroll video. Ironically enough, it's the most viewed video I made since I got back to YouTube, which makes me happy because like the most views I got was like Rickrolling people, and I take pride in that. But I figured to make up for the fact that I drew them as a meme, I would actually try to like do a nice drawing of them. So I did like kind of like an upside down, flippy, lying down picture. I am great at descriptions. I'll flip it around so you can see what Hua Cheng looks like. I did flip it around when I was doing the art because, you know, it's much easier to draw faces right side up. And I feel like the majority of the time here was just doing the shading for their hair. The animation in the show adaptation is so beautiful. Like, you don't understand. You need to see like just the animation quality if you haven't. The next pair I did was Nick and Charlie from Heartstopper. Heartstopper is a comic by Alice Oseman, and I feel like Alice Oseman has like this great way of writing characters. Like, they all feel genuine. And like with Heartstopper, like while kind of coming to terms with their orientation and accepting who they are was part of the plot, it wasn't the only thing. Like, after the guys get together, they explore other parts of being in a relationship, and it's really well written. And I have another drawing I did with Heartstopper characters that I'm looking forward to sharing. While I didn't do much anatomy practice here, and I kind of messed up like Charlie's face, I think I did a good job with like kind of the closeness aspect. I tried to make the faces like squish against each other and tried to figure out how that would work, and I think I did a pretty good job with that. The next pair I did, oh, I know I'm like half a year late to this trend, but Mordetwi. If you remember, I think it was like around August when it became super popular. It's that meme of like the song Airplanes with like Mordetwi fan art. I was like, you know what, let's draw it. I haven't seen regular show, so I just had to like find some reference photos to try to draw Mordecai. I feel like you can tell by the way I drew Twilight that I used to have a pony phase. It's a video for a different time, but you can definitely see it in my fan art of Twilight. I think I tried to like capture their expressions, you know, The true agony of needing to pretend that airplanes in the night sky are like shooting stars. They could both really use a wish right now. The angst, the drama, the romance. Truly tied this piece together. This might just be the best one I've drawn all month. And this might just be the best drawing I've made in my entire life. But that's not for me to say. The next ship I did was Ruby and Sapphire from Steven Universe. Garnet was like my favorite character in Steven Universe when I watched it. And Steven Universe is basically the first show that I've ever watched with lesbian characters in it. So I thought I would just redraw this like cute scene where they're reunited and they're all cute. And I had a lot of fun drawing it. I love how happy they both look in this picture. The next pair I did was Bee and Laz from Brimstone and Roses by Spearmints on Webtoon. Brimstone and Roses is a webcomic about basically the main character Bee who summons a demon, Laz, because she's trying to prove a point to her ex. She doesn't see the fine print in the contract she signed with the demon, so now he's kind of just crashing at her place because she signed the rights for him to do that. I think they're pretty cute together, so I thought I would draw them as a couple, and also with their cat Ginger. And I feel like the way that Spearmints does anatomy and faces kind of reminds me of how I do it a little in my own style. So it was kind of fun drawing it slightly more in my style, but it still feels kind of authentic to her style. The next pair that I did was Glimmer Bow from She-Ra. I found this photo of this archer guy showing a girl how to aim a bow and arrow, and I felt like that was pretty in character. And I kind of changed the expressions here to fit a little more because I can imagine Glimmer just being super confident about it while Bow is just please don't break anything, it's harder than it looks. But you can kind of tell from the way I drew, I feel like I put more effort into Glimmer than Bow, and it kind of shows. I don't think Bow looks like himself here. His face and his hair, it just didn't work. And also I kind of used Glimmer's cape as a cheat around having to draw Bow's anatomy. So if I had to draw this again, I would actually try to figure out where Bow's body is located so I can kind of make it make more sense. I think this is still pretty cute, and yeah, I think this is the last of the She-Ra drawings that I made. But I really like Glimmer and Bow. I think they're great. And I loved drawing Glimmer shooting a bow and arrow. The next pair that we did, oh, more of my OCs. Awesome. I don't know why I sound surprised, but I keep getting surprised. I'm like, oh yeah, I drew that. These are my OCs, Elle and Liora, from a short story I wrote last year, and that short story is getting published not too far away in the future, so I'm really hyped for that. It's basically about these two girls, and it's a story. I don't know if I want to spoil the premise of the story because I feel like it ties into the whole plot and the theme, but it's basically got dark academia and fantasy vibes. So this girl Liora has a mansion or a manor, and she's got all these aesthetic things like tea and a huge library and all the most fun dark academia things. And Elle can do magic, she can enchant things, and there are species in the story like dragonfish and a flinoceros. I had a lot of fun creating this story, and I poured a lot of my heart into it, so I'm really excited for more people to read it, and when it gets published and stuff, I'll do an unboxing, and I'll talk your ear off about that, so be on the lookout for that if you subscribe. But yeah, I love these two so much. I'm excited for more people to get to meet them. Again, I was just using what I've learned about using soft shapes and having the characters be closer to each other, and just kind of went with it, and I think it turned out really cute. The next pair I did was Austin and Tsunade from the webtoon original Always Human by Walking North. It's a really good webcomic about this future universe where humans can have mods made to them, kind of. So you can get cool animal features if you want, and all these cool things. This character, Austin, cannot get these modifications because of a condition she has. And it kind of explores the love story of Austin and Tsunade, as well as having conversations about relationships, and kind of similar to Heartstopper in that it tackles a lot of topics that are important to discuss, communicating in a relationship, things like that. So yeah, I'd recommend this webcomic if you haven't read it because it has a lot of cool conversations and really pretty art. Here I think the anatomy wasn't as good as it usually is. I kind of went back to those stiff rectangle shapes that I didn't want to have, but I still think it's cute, and I think the expressions still sell it, so I'm still pretty happy with this drawing. The next pair I did was another pair from Heartstopper, Tara and Darcy. They're just both very cute. There was one pair from Heartstopper that I didn't do that's also really cute, Elle and Tao. And Heartstopper is actually getting a Netflix adaptation, or I don't know if it's Netflix. Heartstopper is getting a TV adaptation, film adaptation. I'll put a source on the screen explaining what actual adaptation it is, but I'm really excited to see it in live action and see it have a bigger fandom too, because it's a really great webcomic. This drawing here is like a redraw of a drawing that Alice Oseman already made, but I kind of tried to apply the way I usually do anatomy and faces into it to kind of see like how it would look in my style, and I think it turned out pretty cute. I don't want to know how many times I said cute in this video, like don't tell me please. But yeah, I did like the soft shapes here again and like having them be close to each other. I feel like that's like the main thing I learned over this challenge. Soft shapes, and don't be afraid to have your couples be close to each other. Like, it's okay if they're not socially distancing, being 6 feet apart with a really nice big bubble of personal space. The next pair I did. Next up, let's change up my intros. Next up we've got 2 characters from a webcomic I'm developing. I don't think I mentioned it much on my YouTube, but I'm making a webcomic and I don't know when it's gonna come out because webcomics take a crazy amount of work and I don't know when I'll be able to finish even the first episode. But I'm making a webcomic and I'll update you about it when it happens, with these 2 characters as like the main like couple that gets together. Funny enough, I think it should actually be the other way around because like the main character like works out a ton and is probably stronger than the love interest, so it might actually make more sense for her to be carrying her instead. But I had a lot of fun with this, and while this doesn't look on model, like I feel like my actual drawings for these characters look different, it was fun to like practice drawing them before I like, you know, draw them for the actual comic. If you can tell from this video, I've done a lot of like drawings of characters from comics, and over the past year I've gotten a bit into webcomics, so now I've fallen into the trap of, oh, I want to make one too. There's no harm in trying, so I'm gonna try. I'll update you when it ends up happening, so be on the lookout for any updates. The second to last pair is Pepa and Felix from the Disney movie Encanto. I think that they're just really cute. Like, Felix is such a great character. I like his vibe and how upbeat he is, and like he's like the perfect person for Pepa. For this one I decided to make it based on their wedding day, when they were getting ready and there wasn't a cloud in the sky, and then Bruno walked in with a mischievous grin. Thunder, are you telling the story? I'm so sorry. But I drew them in their wedding clothes and like had them with an umbrella and, you know, drew the rain that happened on their wedding. I'm like really happy with how this turned out. I think I like how I got Pepa's expression to turn out, as well as like the details in their outfit. I don't know, they were like my favorites in Encanto. Like, I have multiple favorite characters from that movie, but like I really like them too. I don't know much Spanish. I only took it like as a middle school and high school language. But something I realized, the name Felix, it kind of sounds like Feliz, which means like, right, isn't it like happy? I wonder if that was intentional, because I think that makes sense. But also, if it's not, then it's probably fair. I don't know much Spanish. I really like how this picture turned out. Like, I might have to make this one digital too. And last, but very not least, I did a redraw of the Wesper drawing that I showed you in the beginning. Before I show you the drawing, let's give you a quick refresher on that beauty that I put you guys through. What it looked like 4 years ago when I drew it in 2018. And now let's show you the redraw. See, now they look like they're actually in a relationship with each other, which I feel like is a big improvement. It's not perfect, but it's gayer now, and I'll take it. I feel like I definitely have a lot more to learn still. As is with everything, that's just how life is. There's always more to learn. But I feel like I did learn a lot from this challenge, and as a result, I was able to improve how I draw couples and people interacting with each other overall. So I'm hoping that it'll help me with future art, and also make it feel less daunting to draw people being together doing the kissy kiss. Please don't quote me on that. But yeah, I think overall I'm like pretty happy with what I've learned from doing this challenge. We did it. I finished the challenge on April Fool's. We're gonna ignore that was 2 months after I started the challenge, and instead be proud that I made 24 drawings. 24 ships. And I finished a challenge that I started. I'm pretty proud of myself. When you draw something a lot of times, you're able to learn how to do it better. You know, drawing 24 couples, I will say that I think I've improved, and I'm pretty happy about that. Yeah, this video took a lot of time, but I'm also really happy with what I got out of the experience of making this. I got the sketchbook in like this like mega pack that I bought off of Amazon, so I have more sketchbooks if I ever want to do more of these challenges where I draw like a lot of things and get a lot of practice. So if there's anything that you want to see me draw 24 of, I can try a challenge like this again, and maybe we'll see like me improve in other areas. But yeah, I think the main takeaway, since the title of this video, or like in the thumbnail, I wrote what I learned from drawing 24 couples, I thought I'd summarize it here just so it's easily accessible for anyone who's like, okay, that's a lot of art, what did you get out of this? The main things that I learned from doing this challenge was, When drawing couples, don't be afraid to draw them close to each other. Experiment with using like softer shapes instead of like rectangles and anatomy. Like think of it as like actual people and not like Barbie dolls that you're trying to like pose properly next to each other. Another thing I'd recommend is looking at how you do expressions. Like see how they're reacting to each other, as well as like if their eye contact line of sight matches up, because that's pretty important. You don't want like what I have here, where like Amity is looking at Luz, but Luz is looking at like Amity's eyebrows or like her forehead. Like this could have been so cute, but Luz is just like distracted by Amity's fabulous forehead. So that can be something to do. Yeah, I think other than that, just have fun with it, and if you feel embarrassed drawing couples like I did before this challenge, that's okay. Part of getting better at drawing things is drawing things that are out of your comfort zone. So I highly recommend trying it out sometime if you don't draw a lot of couples. And yeah, I think that's basically the video. Thank you so much for making it to this point in the video. And if there's anything that you want to hear me talk about or draw or like make a meme about, then let me know in the comments. As well as any thoughts you have on drawings from here. Are there any that you want to see me turn into like a full illustration? If you let me know, it might happen. This project was so much fun to do, and I would love to do more like it in the future. If you'd like to support me and my art, feel free to like this video and subscribe to my channel. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye! Because you made it all the way to the end of the video, I thought I'd give you a sneak peek of my amazing super fancy film setup. So first we got, you know, what you saw in the video. Then we have my like sticky notes that I put so I could know what was in the bounds of the video. And then we have this terrible stack of books on top of this box, and like I put my phone on top of here. It was very professional, I know. I am a pro YouTuber. But yeah, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye! Yeah, this is gonna take me forever to edit. It's like 1 hour of footage. And last but not very not least. And last but very not least. Wait, is that how you say it? And not very least. And last but not least,